Winston Eagle is hot on the track to make the Columbia River the site of his first big win of the year. But Mike Hansen in Kellogg's Frosted Flakes is moving up right behind him and hopes to take the Columbia as his first big win. ESPN presents the RC Cola 1993 Unlimited Hydroplane Series. The seventh stop of this 1993 RC Cola Unlimited Hydroplane Series, the Budweiser Columbia Cup from Tri-Cities, Washington. Sponsored by RC Cola. Race to the taste of RC Cola, me and my RC. By O'Doul's, it's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer. And by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that smooth taste. Proud to be your Bud.
The Tri-Cities, Kennewick, Richland, and Pasco. On the Columbia River, this is Budweiser Columbia Cup 93. Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Hendrick, along with Dick Crippen, Steve Montgomery in the pits, standing by. And we have a full slate of boats. In fact, the biggest fleet I've seen all year.
Not only the biggest, Jim, but I think the fastest also. Our average qualifying speed is going to be over 150 miles an hour, which is going to be pretty fantastic. We've got some new boats, a new turbine on the course also, and a converted turbine, if you will. So a lot of things are going to be happening out here, and I think there's going to be a lot of testing. But this is the longest and fastest course as far as these boats are concerned, meaning that it's not necessarily longer than the other courses, but they can keep their speed higher for a longer amount of time. And I think we're going to see some wild action.
It's going to be great. Let's go down to the pits right now. Steve Montgomery.
Jim, this is a huge fast field. The winner of the 1993 Budweiser Columbia Cup is going to make his way through the biggest, fastest field we've had for many, many years. 14 teams brought 17 boats here. 12 have qualified, and they're going to be racing in unusual conditions for the Tri-Cities. Normally, this water is very smooth, and we have 90 to 100 degrees in temperature. Today, it's going to be a lot cooler. We may even have some rain. The residents here, by the way, are accusing us of bringing this weather with us from the Midwest. Back to you, Jim and Dick.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. We have a Rookie of the Year back in action from last year, Nate Brown, in the Tide.
Yes, that's true, and that's because George Woods Jr. flipped in Kansas City, and fortunately the boat was okay, but George was banged up a little more than we thought he was, so Nate Brown will be driving the Tide boat while George remains hospitalized, but he's going to get better. I talked to him this week. He says he definitely will be back to racing.
Yeah, we all miss you, George, the whole TV crew, everybody. In fact, here's a lot of your friends. They'll tell you what they think.
Hi, George! Get well soon!
Well, you can imagine it's not easy to get a lot of the crews out of the pits on race day, but for George Woods Jr. to give him a well wish, they said, fine, let's do it. Let's go down and get a status report on his condition now from Jim Hendrick and Scott Smith.
We're down here with the Tide team managers, Scott Smith and Scotty. What's the latest report on your driver, George Woods?
Well, we'll see him the next event, Jim. He's healing very well. He's in therapy right now. Attitude is great. His spirits are wonderful. I mean, George is just always the same, and he's a very tough, dedicated guy, and he'll be back among all of us. There's no question about it.
For our viewers, exactly what injuries did he sustain?
Well, he crushed his left ankle, and he broke his right ankle in one place, which was pinned, and then he had the number 6 vertebrae fused with a 5 and 7, and Pooh rods put in his back just to stabilize it, and he has one broken rib. Currently, the thing he really has a problem with is more the rib than anything else because they're so painful.
A little extra treat for the fans here in Tri-Cities, the Robert Young Associates Dash for Cash. It was held yesterday. The Winston Eagle, the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, and Miss Circus involved in this. It's a $10,000 purse, $5,000 of it going to the first place boat. Circus Dave Villwock went right out into the lead. He's the pink and white boat on the outside. There you can see Winston Eagle coming up on the inside. He takes advantage of staying on the buoy line. Mark Tate powers the boat up to the lead, but now he gets competition. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Mike Hansen gets a huge cheer from the crowd as he goes into the lead over the Winston Eagle and the Miss Circus on the back stretch. Again, we remind you this is considered a long, fast course because it's one of the few courses where they can keep their speed up almost all the way around through the turns and what have you. There you see great action on the inside. The Winston Eagle with Mark Tate. Now the first place boat is Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Circus way to the outside, battling now for second place on the run. But the Dash for Cash leader is Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. He holds his line beautifully through the turns. Winston Eagle comes back up on the inside. Again, that advantage to the inside boat. Let's see if he can hold it this time. Mark Tate isn't fooling around. He put the pedal to it. He's got power on the back stretch. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes trying to catch him on the outside. Mike Hansen now in a disadvantaged position. They will come into the final turn.
And when they do, Mark Tate will still have an advantage in the Winston Eagle on the inside, and he'll take the dash for cash. $5,000 for first, $3,000 for second, $2,000 for third. Average winning speed for the Winston Eagle, 147.396. That's the way they finished yesterday on this dash for cash.
Mark, you had a little challenge out there from the Kellogg's right at the start.
Yeah, you know, Mike got through corners 1 and 2 really good. The Winston Eagle, we got in there about just past the apex, took a little hop, and the motor compression stalled real bad, and we lost all of our boat speed, and Mike pulled us real good down the back chute, and he was a real gentleman about it and left us a lane going through corners 3 and 4. You know, we were lucky to catch him and win the event.
Well, the Miss Budweiser was not in the dash for cash. They chose to work on the boat and get it ready for racing today. However, in qualifying, they won the Winston Select Lap at 166.193, a new course record.
Now let's take a look at the O'Jules High Point Championship standings here in the RC Cola Hiding Place Series for 1993. We have 4 more events, including this one, and that's 6,400 possible points for all the boats to get. Now, the Miss Budweiser leads by 2,349 over the second place, Winston Eagle. But look, the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes with Mike Hansen is only 225 points out of second, standing in third place. And that's merely a third place finish in any preliminary heat. A little over 2,000 points separate the boats from section 2 down to position number 6. It's still tight. Money still to be had. The O'Jules shootout will be held in Honolulu for the top 3-point getters when we get there.
Well, as we told you earlier, they were working on the Miss Budweiser, getting her race ready for today. Let's go down to the pits and join Jim Hendrick, who's there with owner Bernie Little.
In back of me, the Budweiser crew working feverishly. This boat in back of me out because when it broke the prop, everything let go. Now, Bernie Little, this boat is going to try to get ready for the next race in Seattle, right?
Yes, it is. They're working frantically. As you can see, we have our whole crews over here from Seattle, so our race boat's ready to go racing, but we needed to get all the work done on this one for next week, and you can see what they're doing.
All right, the backup boat now will be in action today. Yet that set a record yesterday, over 166 mile an hour. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby, and we were looking for that 5 mile an hour when we come in here a couple days ago. We felt sure it was there, and we had the record of 161 here. We wanted it 166, and we got it.
The Budweiser Columbia Cup, racing on the Columbia River in Tri-Cities, Washington, will begin in just a moment. Washington on the Columbia River, we get ready for racing. Some problems with the Cooper's Express.
Down here with Ed Cooper Jr., the Cooper's Express team, you've had your problems.
Boy, haven't we ever. 2 days ago, we were out running a really hot lap, threw a propeller off, tore the whole boat up.
You were doing about 140-plus lap when that happened.
Yeah, we were looking to set a record on this course. We ran in the morning, ran real strong at 133, put the big wheel in, made a couple adjustments, and he was really burning a hot lap, and that's what happens, you know, and lost the blade and shook a lot of the rear end loose, sunk at the dock. But we've got it put together to be ready to go.
We're getting set for racing, and this will be Heat 1A coming up.
This is the way they were scheduled in Heat 1A. The Tide, the Budweiser, Circus, Cooper's Express, Rock, and Pete's Wicked Ale. However, we never got Heat 1A underway because as they came down the back chute, the Circus with Dave Villwock had a problem. Then he gets the boat on plane and tries to catch up to the rest of the fleet.
Well, we knew he was in trouble right there because the fleet was already coming down around the final turn. He was speeding down the back stretch, trying to get up to make the start when all of a sudden the boat took off like an airplane flying through the air. You can see it hits Pickle Fork down. The boat rolls over. It lands right side up. Watch closely now because the signal to everybody about the driver is if he can open the canopy. All eyes were on the canopy. There it is. It popped open. Villwock is attempting to get out of the boat by himself. Jimmy looks a little bit wobbly right there.
Yes, he is a little disoriented about this point, and anybody would be. The crew, of course, back on the dock getting the radios out. They want to know the condition of the driver. You can see him standing there, but boy, the whole rear end of that boat looks like it's torn away.
Well, fortunately, it did land right side up, so the rescue crew really didn't have too much work to do to get Villwock out of the boat. As you can see, he walks by himself into the rescue boat. They'll settle him down and kind of check him out, blood pressure and such, as they bring him in. His wife, Pam, listening to the radio, trying to pick up any indication as to how her husband, Dave Villwock, is. He appears to be in pretty good condition, a little bit shaken up, sitting up as he comes in the rescue boat.
Eric Seelau and that rescue crew from the URC that travels with us every race, doing their job perfectly as always. And you can see parts of the boat now as they're towing it back to the pits, and we're getting ready for the restart. Let's get down to the pit area right now and find out from the owner of the boat, Ron Jones Jr., exactly what happened.
Ron, did you get an idea of what happened?
I was down on the start-finish line, and the engine compressor stalled here, and he cleaned it out and got the thing relit, and he tore off down to catch everybody because the URC official said pick up the pace, or just pick up the pace. So he went charging down the line. I don't know if he hit somebody's swell or whatever and picked the right side up, and the thing just took off.
Well, the sad thing is this is #2 boat.
Yeah, we're going home to fix that #1 boat because we got to have something for Seattle. This thing's totally destroyed. It's towed. It's gone.
And he should know because his family has been building unlimited hydroplanes for many, many years, from his grandfather, Ted Jones, to his father, Ron, to Ron Jones Jr. himself. And we look at that boat badly damaged.
There you can see father and son kind of comforting each other, knowing there's a long week ahead as they get ready for Seattle. That boat is totally destroyed. The back end of it smashed to bits. So that's what happened as we went to start Heat 1A the very first time. They have now called for a restart. We're getting the boats back out on the water as you continue to survey the damage through the eye of the camera in the pits here in Tri-Cities.
A good crowd on hand now as the restarting of Heat 1A about to take place. It'll be down to 5 boats: the Tide, Miss Budweiser, Cooper's Express, Miss Rock, Pete's McAdale, and here they come. The starter's flag is ready, Dick.
And we remind everybody this is a restart. Right now the Tide boat in lane #1 gets the flag and off she goes. But watch the Miss Budweiser in lane #2. Chip Hanauer challenging Nate Brown in the Tide boat, dropping the Tide back to second place. Hanauer clean through the turn. You can see those little waves that are forming down on that turn. They have to be careful of those. Although this is a wide river and a very fast river, that means that those waves can cause some pretty violent reactions to the boats. Miss Budweiser clean and green on the back stretch. The red and white boat driven by Chip Hanauer.
This Budweiser Columbia Cup is the 7th stop of the RC Cola Hydroplane Series for 1993, and we've got quite a lot of action that we've seen. And between now and next week when we're in Seattle, you're going to see a lot more, Dick.
Yeah, I think so. As a matter of fact, we're seeing some good action there as the Tide boat tries to catch up onto the inside of the Miss Budweiser. Miss Budweiser powers on coming out of the turn. Chip Hanauer knows this river well. There you see Mike Jones and Pete's Wicked Ale. That boat is riding in 4th place. Miss Budweiser hard into the turn, takes it clean, and gets out onto the back stretch. But watch out for the Tide boat on the inside. Nate Brown is trying to bring it on.
And bring it on he has. He has the fastest lap in this heat at 151.871. We're missing the Cooper's Express. Mitch Evans, the boat did not start. Still trying to repair that stern from losing that blade in testing the last couple of days, Dick.
We just saw the Miss Rock riding back in 3rd place. Ken Dryden, here they come down around. All eyes are up on the checkered flag. Tide is trying to catch him on the inside, but I think that's the impossible dream at this point because the Miss Budweiser is coming home strong, and Chip Hanauer is going to take the checkered flag to win Heat 1A here on the Columbia River, Tri-Cities, Washington.
And Dick along the way picks up 400 more points in the Jules High Point Championship chase on the RC Cola Hydroplane Series. This is the way they finished in Heat 1A. Let's go to the winner's dock.
Well, Chip, it looked like out there you finally got the water to tame down for you a little.
No, I wish I had that power to do that, but it probably wasn't as bad as it was in the first heat. And the reason that is I think we had less boats, and this place is very susceptible to the number of boats. That's why I really oppose running 7. I think safe is 5 or 6.
What about the wing on the boat, though? You got a chance to put it finally into some competition.
It's still an unknown yet. You know, it's not such a thing that we can just say, obviously, oh, this is a better way to go. But it is showing some good signs. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Bernie, perhaps the best sign of all is the fact the boat got back into the dock, and it looks like it's all in one piece.
That's true. I had called Ron, our crew chief, earlier before we went out, and I said, is there anything we can do to beef it up because everybody else is coming in with their tails off? and it's a demolition derby out there. So anyhow, it went good, and Chip did good, and we'll be ready.
Lots of work will be done on a lot of the boats down there. Let's go down the pits now to Jim Hendrick, who's standing by with tie driver Nate Brown.
Down here with Nate Brown, who last year was the Rookie of the Year in another boat, and now the first baptism of fire midway through the season. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels really great. The tide team did really well. The boat handled well. Dan Hyde, the crew chief for the tide boat, did an excellent job getting this whole thing put together. We talked a lot, and it's really an honor to be able to fill in for George, and I feel very comfortable. I'm looking forward to it. Chip did an outstanding job. I mean, he is a gentleman extraordinaire. I mean, he left me lots of room, and more room than he really needed to, but he's just a great driver, and I want my hats off to Bernie and Chip for letting me have that kind of initiation. I'm sure if I got a little closer, he'd shut the door on me, though.
Well, we'll find out if they get closer in races coming up as we continue with more from Tri-Cities, Washington after this.
I'm Jim Hendrick along with Dick Crippen back here in Tri-Cities, Washington for the Budweiser Columbia Cup, and our sidekick, Steve Montgomery, has a special guest.
Mike Ekert got his unlimited driver's license here on the Columbia River in 1991. It took 92 to kind of rebuild the boat. Mike, a lot of work, and you got serious about this sport, didn't you?
Yeah, we've started to, take it a lot seriously. We put a decent boat together and built some brand new motors. We're not real, a lot of depth in equipment, but what we do have is pretty much as good as any of most of the guys here. We got great propellers, brand new motors. We're pretty happy with where we started from where we are now.
Dave Villwock, who flipped the circus just a little while back, has been checked out. He's okay. Dick Crippen is with him now. Dick?
Well, we're very happy to welcome back to the pits Dave Villwock. Dave, as they work on your boat in the background here and get it ready to transport it back to the shop, let's talk about exactly what happened out there.
I don't know why they threw the white flag before the boats were lined up, but they threw the white flag and asked us to catch up. We tried to catch up. I've been told by Chip Hanauer that Mike Jones came over and took the lane away, and Dryden had to come over with him because he had no choice. I had the boat about 3/4 throttle or so and just happened to hit a big hole apparently and got it up in the air, and it just wouldn't come back.
Well, back here at Tri-Cities, Washington, we're all set to go with Heat 1B. A great crowd on hand, even though rain threatens here on the Columbia River. Here's the 6 boats that'll compete: the Kellogg's, Winston Eagle, T Plus, American Spirit, Oh Boy Alberto, and the Taco Time.
As they come down this Columbia River course, on the inside, it is Kellogg's Frosted Flakes with Mike Hansen, who will try to set the pace right off of the green flag. It looks like lane number 2, the Winston Eagle, is going to be the challenge boat with a Miss T Plus on the outside of him in lane number 3, and that's the way they go into the turn. Winston Eagle taking a slight advantage. Miss T Plus going wide on the turn, way outside, cuts it in, now has fallen back to second place, where he's locking up with the inside boat, the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
No power could get to the Taco Time engine. Jerry Hopp is on the beach. We're down to 5 boats.
Still the leader is the Winston Eagle with Mark Tate. He's the one that won the Dash for Cash yesterday here on the Columbia River. He's got a good ride going for him today. He has to have a good bit of confidence going. That was a nice way to start the weekend. Still battling for second place. The inside boat is the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. The outside boat, and you can see they're almost even, is the Miss T Plus with Stephen David. Back in the 4th position now is Albertson's American Spirits, followed by the Oh Boy Alberto, and as Jim said, Jerry Hopp and the Taco Time sitting on the beach, unable to get the engine to power up.
141.881 for the leader, Winston Eagle, Mark Tate. Showing them the short way around the course, while 133.8 for this boat. Second place, Mike Hansen in the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Mike Hansen trying to shake the Miss T Plus on the outside. He can just see through the veil of the rooster tail. He knows he's got some competition. He has taken solo possession of second place. Mike Ekert is now in 5th place in the Oh Boy Alberto as they come around the final turns. Winston Eagle Mark Tate has dominated this race. He didn't have much competition. The real competition was back in second place, where Kellogg's Frosted Flakes now has gained himself control.
And 400 points goes to Mark Tate and the Winston Eagle, winning an average of 137.334.
Winston Eagle finishes first, followed by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, the Miss T Plus, American Spirit, Oh Boy Alberto, and Taco Time did not start. Look at the fourth place boat. Mark Evans and Albertson's American Spirit. They've got tail damage. Look at the leader, the winning boat. Mark Tate's boat had tail damage too. Let's go down to the pits.
Down here with the Happy Winston crew. Got a little hairy out there. You weren't really riding that water that's steady or secure.
The water's tremendously sloppy out there. It just seems like every lap it just gets worse and worse, and you know, the final heat's just gonna be a real ocean.
You worried at all, Steve, the way the boats are riding?
Well, yeah, we're concerned about how rough it is out there, but when you got the best shoe there is, he takes real good care of the equipment, pushed it just hard enough to beat him, and did a tremendous job.
Are you trying to say this might be your day?
Oh, no, I don't know. You know, you don't cock-a-doodle-doo too early, you know.
They'll take their time and get their boat ready for more racing. We get ready now for Heat 2A, and the Tide boat is going to be out there with Nate Brown driving. Also in this heat is going to be the Miss T Plus, Stephen David. We saw he had a good run just moments ago. The Miss Rock with Ken Dryden, the U99.9, the U100 American Spirit with a repaired tail, Mark Evans, and the Taco Time Jerry Hopp, the U19. Pete's Wicked Ale will fill out the field, the U55, Mike Jones driving that boat.
And we're getting word that the Taco Time will not start in this heat again with engine problems. So we're down to 5 boats as they come down in the turn number 1 for the first time.
Looks like the Tide boat and Miss T Plus locking it up side by side, deck to deck, and Albertson's American Spirit trying to take advantage of that. Miss T Plus powers on through the turn. Stephen David trying to hold himself on the line down there, and Nate Brown doing a great job on the inside. Stephen David with the lead in the Miss T Plus. Second place now is the Tide boat. Nate Brown driving that one, and back in third, it will be the Albertson's American Spirit.
A lane infraction penalty, I hear, is going to be called against the U2, which is the T Plus with Steve David. He's going to be penalized an extra lap for a cutoff lane infraction, according to the officials.
Well, we saw on the turn down there that was very, very tight going in, and apparently the officials judged it a little bit too tight. So we'll see if indeed that infraction is called on the T Plus. Meanwhile, Stephen David is the leader out there on this Tri-Cities course. Second place in the run as they run on the course is the Tide boat. There you see Stephen David in the T Plus. He's got a good ride going for that boat. They were just a little bit tight, a little close together on the early run, and the officials are huddled now to make a decision on that.
And the decision is that the T Plus will be penalized 1 extra lap. There is your new leader.
So the Tide boat, Nate Brown, he's driving it for the first time this year. He placed second place in his very first race earlier today. Now he has himself first place. The Miss T Plus has some catching up to do. He'll have to go all the way around the field and come back up to get position. At the moment, he is trailing in last place. Here is your lead boat. Now you can see no tail at all on the second place boat, Mark Evans, the American Spirit. And I've got to tell you, Jim, without that tail on there, the boat does look a little bit unstable. It looked like it was tending to fly a little bit.
The penalty to the T Plus is now gone by the wayside. The T Plus has broken down on the course, having a problem. Your leader coming around with a half a lap to go to take 400 points, and the checker flag in here, 2A, is the Tide.
Still battling out in the Pete's Wicked Ale in third place, Mike Jones. This will be good for him. This is the first time he's been driving his Unlimited in a competition race. Fourth place goes to the Miss Rock, Ken Dryden at this moment. Your lead boat is the Tide. The checkered flag is out, and this has got to be one very happy moment for the crew, and we know a happy moment for Nate Brown. Disappointing for Steve David, who gave it a good try in the Miss T Plus. The penalty got him first, and then the engine failed.
And the Tide averaged 131.6 in winning Heat 2A, as you see the final order of finish. We'll be back with more action on the RC Cola Hydroplane Series 93 From Tri-Cities in Washington, I'm Jim Hendrick, along with Dick Griffin and Steve Montgomery, here on the Columbia River. Let's go to the winner's dock, the Tide team.
Well, Nate Brown, good run out there.
Thanks, Dick. How about that Tide boat, huh? No, it's the T Plus was going really fast, and the only time I knew I won that heat is when they said T Plus had a lane infraction. But my hat's off to Tide and Dan Hyde, the crew chief for the boat. They did a great job getting the thing together.
Well, the weather is improving. It's getting a little warmer here as the shirts are coming off of this 100,000-plus fans along the Columbia River. Here's the action for Heat 2B. Miss Budweiser, Chip Hanauer. The Winston Eagle, Mark Tate. So the Winston and Bud will now lock up horns and be challenged by the Kellogg's, driven by Mike Hansen. Old Boy Alberta with Mike Eekman will also see action. On the outside will be Cooper's Express, Mitch Evans, but they haven't put the boat in the water yet. Still having problems repairing the stern. They do not make the start. Here's the field as they come towards you, Dick.
Miss Budweiser is going to set the pace in lane number 1. Winston Eagle, Mark Tate in lane 2, trying to move up. We'll see if he can do it as they go down into the turn. Tate with a very slight lead. Both boats allowing enough room for everybody else to come through. But it's going to be the Miss Budweiser taking it on the inside, going out onto the back stretch. Chip Hanauer has taken himself about a 5-boat length lead over the Winston Eagle, back in third as the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Oh, that Winston Eagle was really pressing on the hip of the Budweiser, coming down for that start and diving into corner number 1. And that's pushing the Budweiser to perhaps a record. We'll have to check the timer. This might be a record for one lap on this course as he comes around the complete lap number 1. And it is, Dick, a new record. Chip Hanauer, 154.115. That breaks his old competition lap record of 148.8 by almost 6 miles an hour.
That gives you a good indication of how these boats have to race when they lock horns like this. The Miss Budweiser and the Winston Eagle especially, they go all out for it. So a new record for the Miss Budweiser, Chip Hanauer. And if you notice, when you take a look at the boat, on the driver's right side, the right sponson, there's a very small wing sticking up to keep the boat down on the turns. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, Mike Hansen driving a very solid third place. The Winston Eagle is in between those two. He is in second place. There you can see that wing on the right sponson. That actually forces the sponson down on the turns. Oh boy, Alberto, Mike Eekman riding now in fourth place.
And Dick, we have a new course record for a 6-mile heat and a 2-mile course at 147.6, besting the old record by 3 miles an hour by this team, the Budweiser team, winner of Heat 2B. There's the rest of the orders of finish. Cooper's Express still not making it first today, having problems, they say, drying the glue on their repaired transom. We'll be back with more from Columbia River Tri-Cities in just a moment.
Welcome back to Tri-Cities, Washington. Dick Griffin along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery as we get ready for more racing. Let's take a look inside Unlimited Racing with the T-Plus Performance Corner.
Hi, I'm Steve David. What we're going to talk about today is the business end of an unlimited hydroplane, the cockpit, and what goes on while we're actually racing. I'm sitting in the cockpit now. Surrounding me is Kevlar and carbon fiber. It's an impact-resistant material similar to what an IndyCar would be made of. Above my head is an F-16 canopy to prevent danger from another boat coming on top of me. There's an escape hatch in the bottom in the event we're upside down, or I can get out as you see now. Behind my head is a headrest that specifically fits my helmet size, so when I go into turns, that holds it in place, otherwise your neck would be stretched a little too far. The seat itself is molded just to fit the driver. In this case, I laid down on what was 2-part foam to get the shape of the seat. There's fuel shutoffs, electronics to get it started, and some basic instrumentation in terms of engine speed, exhaust gas temperature, oil pressure in the gearbox, and oil pressure in the engine. The steering wheel itself is a quick release, so if we had to get out of the boat, it unsnaps and comes off so I can get out the bottom or out the top. Of course, the cockpit's designed for a human being. Knowing our frailties, we have electronic and computer backup. This plugs into the electronics as well as my helmet, and it feeds the computer brain of the boat, which gives the crew all the information they need to ensure that what I'm doing in the cockpit results in a win out in the race course.
A good look inside the unlimited hydroplane racing world as we get ready for Heat 3A. And we've got some good competition with lane number 1, the Tide, lane 2, the Miss Budweiser, then the Winston Eagle, the Miss Rock, Miss T-Plus, and Pete's Wicked Ale rounding out the field on the far outside.
as they come down now for the start of Heat 3A. It is the Budweiser Winston Eagle right next to him, the T-Plus Pete's Wicked Ale, and the Tide in there. 5 boats coming to corner number 1, and boy, this looks like it could be a Donnybrook.
Winston Eagle has taken the lead as they come into the turn, but Budweiser's moving up fast in lane number 2, and it looks like Chip Hanauer is going to try to take that lead. But Mark Tate is not going to let him do it. They're going to ride side by side down the back stretch. Meanwhile, coming up fast from 3rd place is the Tide with Nate Brown aboard. Look at those 2 boats. It looks like 1 hydroplane. It's actually 2 of them. The Miss Budweiser, red and white, to the right of your screen. The Dayglow red boat of the Winston Eagle to the left. And now they come down the front straightaway.
And again, they're coming around to complete lap number 1, averaging close to 150 mile an hour, side by side. And boy, that gets this crowd to their feet. Look at this competition.
When the water's right, those 2 boats can go at it tooth and nail. Chip Hanauer trying again to take advantage of the inside, but Mark Tate keeping his power up on the outside, although he comes out trailing. Let's see if he can catch him as they come down the back stretch. There's also a battle going on back in 3rd as the Winston Eagle closes in on the Miss Budweiser again. The Tide and the Miss T-Plus have locked it up in 3rd. Look, they are deck to deck, side by side down the back stretch. Nate Brown on the inside trying to take advantage. He loses it up and over. Nate Brown goes over in the Tide boat. The boat is upside down in the water. The rescue crew is already under power and heading that way. Nate Brown trying to find that little bit of extra power to get by the Miss T-Plus on the inside, Jim, and it just took off like an airplane. Did it remind you of anything?
Yes, it reminded me of the San Diego last year. Corner number 1 of the Budweiser did the same type of flip. Now the rescue crew, the local rescue crew is there first. They'll scamper on and have to undo the bottom of the boat plate and get the driver out unless he can extricate himself from the boat while he's upside down. I don't know if that'll happen here.
Judging from the reaction, it looks like he got out from the canopy underneath.
Yeah, the local guy,
looking for him.
He can't find him.
There he is. He says, there he is. He's over here. So apparently Nate Brown has come up to the surface. And let's take another look at this flip.
Right side comes up, skid fin out of the water, completely loses control. The boat flips over, stern first, upside down, the 2nd race in a row that the Tide has ended upside down.
Looked like he actually bounced in the water and came back down with the rear end, slamming hard into the water and then pushing the boat forward. Nate Brown, as you can see the helmet just to the front, he's waving, trying to get word to the shoreline, and especially to his wife, Janet, who's standing right there waiting to hear more about it. She's kind of used to it. He's been around racing for a while. She saw the wave. Everything seems to be okay. We'll bring Nate in and check him out momentarily to find out his condition.
2 laps were completed before the Tide flipped, so Heat 3A is official. It goes in the record book as a 2-lap heat. Here's the results. Miss Budweiser first, Winston Eagle second, Miss T-Plus, and Pete's Wicked Ale comes in 4th.
Jim, we just got word from the Tide team manager, Scott Smith, that Nate Brown apparently has been checked out. The doctors say he's okay, he's uninjured, so he is going to stay right here at the race course. And we're going to be back here at the race course in Tri-Cities, Washington, on the Columbia River for more wild rides right after this. Washington, the Miss Budweiser shop where they actually build the boats and repair them is right up the road. We asked the crew chief, Ron Brown, if he wouldn't mind to take you on a tour of that shop.
Welcome to the Miss Budweiser shop. Let me show you around. This is the main shop area where the support vehicles are kept. The shop is 200 feet long and 120 feet wide, and we basically house 3 boats in here along with the 2 transport vehicles. This is the engine room. This is the assembly area for the engines in here.
The engine parts that you see here on these racks represent the spare parts that we build up on a yearly basis. There's enough parts here to comprise approximately about 7 or 8 more engines.
This is one of the engines that just came back from our test facility. We have a dyno where we completely go through the engines and monitor the horsepower rating and the parameters of the engine. So this is the Miss Budweiser machine shop. This is one of our engine lathes here. There's a propeller shaft in the machine now that we're starting to machine up. And over in here, we have another milling machine along with some parts that we're reproducing over there, another lathe in here. So we're basically self-sustained here in the machine shop where we can build virtually anything that goes onto the Ms. Budweiser, build it right here in-house. And this is the CNC machine where we do our propellers, our rudders, and skid fins, things that have complex shapes to them.
What Rich is doing now is machining up what we call our battery straps. These straps tie together the NiCad cells in our batteries. And now you've seen part of the Miss Budweiser shop. The next program, you'll see the new experimental Miss Budweiser.
Some of the ideas and some of the background that'll give you a little bit more of a basis and understanding unlimited hydroplane racing. In Heat 3B, we're going to see the American Spirit in Lane 1, Oh Boy Alberto in Lane 2, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, Taco Time, and the Cooper's Express rounding out the field.
However, Dick, the Cooper's Express U3 is missing again. We'll try to find out why following this heat. Here they come. 4 boats hit the starting line.
Right off the bat, Albertson's American Spirit. Mark Evans, the inside boat, is leading. But watch that third lane. That's the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Mike Hansen. Mike ties them up as they go through the turn. Coming out, they're going to be almost side by side. It looks like Kellogg's may have the advantage. Kellogg's on the outside takes the lead away from Albertson's American Spirit. So it's the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes in first. Albertson's American Spirit with Mark Evans driving in second place.
Oh boy, Alberto, with Mike Egret is now currently third. And we're getting word that the Cherry Hop and the Taco Time will get no points, but he'll get some practice time in for the next race in Seattle because he started too late.
When that happens, they give the guy at least a little bit of the course. He stays to the outside. He can test the boat, find out how it's running. This boat running better and better each race out of Madison, Indiana. Mike Hansen in the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Had himself a very good start. Got up there, took the lead momentarily, and Albertson's American Spirit challenged him, and then he all of a sudden powered on. American Spirit that you see right there, now riding in second place. The power boat is Kellogg's Frosted Flakes in the lead. Oh boy, Alberto, Mike Egret now riding in third place. There's the Taco Time, really taking it more for test than anything else. This is the first time they've had it out on the water today, so he wants to take advantage of the time, see if he can see any problems in his future. If you hear some cheering from the 13,000 owners of the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, it's from Madison, Indiana. The citizens of that town own this boat, and right now the driver of the boat looking at the checkered flag, Mike Hansen. A happy moment for him. His fastest lap, lap number 1, 149.104 miles per hour. American Spirit second. Oh boy, Alberto is third.
This gets you in the finals, and that's good news.
Yeah, that we really need to get the Kellogg's in the final and with a lane choice of some sort. So that should give us enough points to get a decent lane and try to put this thing in the winner's circle.
Bob, your team has improved right along, and Madison has to be proud.
Well, I'm mighty proud of this guy and our whole team, Charlie Grooms and his brother Larry, for all he's done with these engines and et cetera, and the whole team, just everybody, and we're awful proud for the city of Madison and for Kellogg.
Well, those folks are happy, and they should be. Not so happy for Mitch Evans and the Cooper's Express. As Jim told you, there were problems with that boat. Steve Montgomery is with Mitch.
Of all the guys who had tough days here at the Columbia Cup, none tougher than Mitch Evans. You worked and worked and worked for 3 days, couldn't quite get it ready.
No, it just came down to a time frame. We worked and worked. We had a real problem with the back end of the boat and the shaft alignment in it, and it just wasn't close enough. We could have probably thrown it together, but it's just taking too big of a chance to tear something up again.
The RC Cola Unlimited Hydroplane Series, the Budweiser Columbia Cup on the Columbia River in Tri-Cities, will return in just a moment.
And Dick Crippen back here at Tri-Cities, Washington. And Dick, a lot of history here on this river.
There certainly is, Jim. And I don't know if you knew it or not, but the Columbia River is only one of 3 rivers in the Tri-Cities area, the other 2 being the Snake and Yakima rivers. It was kind of fun to see the other type of boating out here, water skiers, windsurfing, all on these beautiful rivers. I was told a short time ago, however, that there are over 60,000 in attendance here in Columbia Park to see the hydros. Fishermen from across the U.S. flock to the river shore here for the annual spawning migration of steelhead and salmon. The Chamber of Commerce claims over 300 days of sunshine each year, and you know what? I can believe that. At any rate, the Columbia River and its sister rivers here in the Tri-Cities areas are just a really great place to visit.
And fun to come as the crowds galore always surround this river on race day. Now let's go down to the pits and Steve Montgomery. Steve?
Well,
Well, guys, thanks again to the safety capsule. The driver who did the spectacular flip for us moments ago is standing here watching the boat being rescued. Nate, first of all, you're okay.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm more disappointed in the fact that this damage right here. We can't make the final now. I was really hoping to come back here and see it good enough where we could throw a set of wings out on a Cowling and go out there and make the final and get some more points for the Tide team.
Describe for us what happened up there in the west turn.
The Budweiser and Winston were running really good out there, and they were, way in front of T Plus and myself. And the right response was smack the roller, and it came up, and I wasn't able to get into the wings fast enough, and it just flat took off.
No matter how much success you've had in unlimited hydroplane racing, every time you put a new hull in the water with a different setup of horsepower or props, it's a learning process. Dick Crippen investigates that process with Jim Lucero.
I think this is a continuing learning process. Unfortunately, it's an earning process for Steve Woomer, too, because he has to earn the money to pay for all of this stuff. But, yeah, it has been, and we've made some good strides, and we've got a great crew on the Winston Eagle. These guys have had a great attitude. We've had a lot of races in a row. They've been under a lot of pressure, adverse conditions, and being on the road a long time, they still have a great attitude, and they're working just as hard now as they did 8 weeks ago.
That was kind of tough being on the road like that. I mean, people don't realize you only have had one weekend break in the last 7 weeks.
Well, when I listen to baseball players and basketball players complain about a long road trip and it's three or four games, I think you guys need to come work with us for a few weeks, and you'll find out what hard work and long hours are.
And Jim Lucero was a fan from the get-go when he used to look through the fence in Seattle. Now he's in it, and he's been quite successful. The drivers in each city make themselves accessible to the youngsters. They'll have autograph sessions, very popular with the fans at each race event. Here was the lineup for the last chance heat, with one boat advancing as the trailer in the winner take-all finale. And coming back from a rough day, Steve David wins the last chance heat in the Miss T Plus to advance to the finals, which we'll have for you after this timeout.
Steve Montgomery and Jim Hendrick on the Columbia River. There's a beautiful shot of the Tri-Cities area. And Jim, this is it. Winner take all.
Winston Eagle, Mark Tate has chosen lane number 1. The Miss Budweiser will be in lane number 2 right beside him. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes will take slot number 3. In slot 4 will be Albertson's American Spirit, Mark Evans driving. In slot 5, Oh Boy Oberto with Mike Egret. Pete's Wicked Ale will take lane number 6, and trailing by virtue of his win in the last chance, Steve David in the T Plus, as you see a whole bunch of rooster tails coming down for that starting flag.
And all eyes are on the inside. Lane number 1, the Winston Eagle. Lane number 2, the Miss Budweiser. And there they go, deck to deck as they head down to turn number 1. Third place is in lane 3, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Mike Hansen trying to get up there with the Winston Eagle and the Miss Budweiser. Coming out of the turn onto the back stretch again, those two boats are deck to deck. It's going to be Miss Budweiser taking it by a slight nose. Winston Eagle getting very light coming out of that turn. That is the tricky turn. If you can make it through there and keep your power hard, you're in very good position. But if you'll notice, even though he flew a little bit on the turn, Winston Eagle stayed very strong on the inside for second.
The only problem is, Dick, he is not second. The Winston Eagle, driven by Mark Tate, destroyed a buoy in corner number 1 in the first turn of the start of this lap. And he is now disqualified for 1 lap. Means he goes all the way to the rear. And the second place boat will be the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, driven by Mike Hansen.
Well, it's a disappointment, I'm sure, for the Winston Eagle crew, and especially for Mark Tate. But, you know, in the heat of battle, those two boats, we saw it on the aerial, how they were neck and neck going down the front straight. He clipped that buoy as he went into the turn. Boy, I'll tell you, I don't know. It's awfully hard to even see those buoys at these speeds. But right now, he sits in the rear of the pack, and the Miss Budweiser's alone in first. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, Mike Hansen now in second place. And I know that's going to make the fans of Madison, Indiana very, very happy.
The rule is you can hit a buoy, but you cannot dislodge it. Once it ceases to become a marker, you get a lap penalty as we look at the battle for third place between the T Plus and the Albertsons American Spirit. What a side-by-side battle the fans are getting for this position right now.
Jim, we have talked about the roughness of this course all day long. These two boats, the American Spirit with no tail, and now look at the T+. Look closely. You'll see that the horizontal stabilizer tail is dangling. It's broken, actually, and part of it is dangling down near that stack. Boy, I'll tell you, this river has taken a toll on these boats today. It has been very, very rough. Those two boats battling it out now for third. American Spirit, as we told you, back in fourth place, has no tail at all. He lost that one in the very first race of the day.
If you, as we look at the fifth place, oh boy, Alberto, could collect all the parts that have floated on this Columbia River today, you can make your own hydro.
I think you're pretty right on that. Now, one of the boats that's come through with hardly any damage at all on it is the Miss Budweiser, and right now is leading 7th place. Pete's Wicked Ale with Mike Jones, who's really driving in his first day of active unlimited hydroplane competition. Checkered flag goes out. Winner take all. Chip Hanauer in the Miss Budweiser. We will talk with Chip Hanauer from the winner's dock right after this timeout.
River, Chip Hanauer wins his 6th consecutive victory of 93. Let's go down to the docks and Dick Griffin.
Well, it's a happy moment here down on the Miss Budweiser dock. Welcome to ocean racing, by the way.
Oh, horrible. Horrible like I knew it would be. 7 boats is too much, I think, for this race course. I just can't describe how violent it is. That's the most violent 5 laps I've ever done.
I think the test to the crew and the builders of the boat is the fact that it held together. A lot of them didn't. There were pieces all over the place.
They're just the best. They're just so professional. And I think the other thing that works for us is that they've been together for so long and they're so mature. They get along so well. I think it all boils down to relationships and people, and I think we really have good relationships and good people.
Well, you're the guy that put it all together, Bernie, and obviously you thought about that end of it.
Well, we did, and when we got Ronnie Brown to join the team, he did it. He started it all, and that's what we ought to get.
Ronnie, come here.
Come here, Ronnie.
Come here, Ronnie.
Come on in here.
You in here. This is Ron Brown, who's the man behind all the crew. And I got to tell you, Ron, I think you got to feel good today. The boat held together and it won. Those are 2 great factors.
Well, thank you, Dick. As Chip just said, the conditions out there were just horrendous, and we managed to get the Miss Budweiser tuned up for the final and get through those conditions. I think that was the main concern all day long. So we're very happy for Chip, and I guess we got lucky again. So.
Now let's take a look at the O'Doul's High Point Championship race through the first 7 races. A 2,864-point lead for the Budweiser. Kellogg's is only 102 points out of 2nd place.
And if you're interested in learning more about unlimited racing, write the Unlimited Racing Commission, 414 Pontius Avenue North, Suite C, Seattle, Washington.
Down here on the docks of the Columbia River, we're standing in front of the boat that had the most action in the whole regatta. That is the rescue boat. Right, Dick Griffin?
Yeah, that's right, Jim. This boat was busy all day long. We had 2 flips. Now we've got 2 teams with question marks on their head. Tide team, I think, could get the boat rebuilt. Now they're going to have to go back to the first boat that they started racing for Circus Circus. That may be a question mark. The other boat is destroyed. I don't think they're going to get that put back together. But poor Mark Evans in the American Spirit, another boat that suffered a lot of damage out there, and I think he's still picking up pieces out on the course.
Speaking of pieces, what do you have, Steve Montgomery?
Well, this is honeycomb aluminum. It's the stuff they build unlimited hydroplanes out of in Seattle for the most part. Now they're going back where they built them and rebuild the fleet. A great day of racing, guys. Great action, but this kind of demolition, and the sport wouldn't last very long.
And the fact that Seattle is the hometown for most of these crews, they will be in their own workshops very early tomorrow, getting ready for the next race. And we'll be there. On behalf of Dick Griffin, Steve Montgomery, I'm Jim Hendrick. So long.
The Budweiser Columbia Cup was sponsored by RC Cola. Race to the taste of RC Cola. Me and my RC. By T+. Beat the daily grind. Use T+, the engine treatment with DuPont Teflon. And by Budweiser Beechwood Age for that smooth taste. Proud to be your Bud. This event has been sanctioned by the American Powerboat Association. This has been a production of Diamond P Sports in association with ESPN.